This is Gary Geiman with the Dominate the Day podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to help you get 1% better in your business, provide clarity, and give you some ideas that will help you grow your business. If you're ready to dominate the day, let's go.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't want to dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you want to dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.
What's going on, Dominate Nation? It's Gary Geiman with Dominate the Day. It's time to dominate. So we've been listening to clips from an episode I recorded on the commercial. Can't talk today. We've been listening to clips from an episode I recorded back in the summertime of the Construction and Leadership podcast with their host, Bradley Hartman. And today, we're getting close to the end. It's the 5th episode in the series. And can't wait for you to take a listen. Here it is. Let's dominate.
I'm going to bridge two different elements of kind of what you shared there to get your perspective on something. So you probably heard of something called the Eisenhower matrix, which was, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but the story I read that I'm going to pretend is true is, he was leading the Allied invasion of World War II, so many constraints, fighting back Nazi Germany, long supply chains, getting back to the United States. And he had a lot of things that were urgent and had a lot of things that were important. So just kind of a 2x2 grid, urgent, not urgent, important, not important, and trying to understand that sometimes something that's really urgent is not that important and vice versa. Question for you is, as you think about speed being your currency, I think a lot of folks who are listening would say, totally get it. Speed of response, speed of resolution is important. How do you teach your folks that you can do something really, really fast that is really, really urgent and really ignore something that is important? How do you teach that balance, or can you?
That's something we struggle with for sure. We talk internally probably about this, I don't want to say daily, but it's pretty close to daily. Prioritization and understanding that level of priority. And we try to prioritize based upon, if it's a customer situation, we're trying to prioritize one customer over another. Okay. We typically look at what's the quickest way to cash for that customer? Because in marketing, obviously, them making money is what's important. So what's the quickest way to cash for that customer, and who can we impact quicker? Sometimes it's just a matter of us not utilizing our resources effectively where we run into that. And sometimes it's just maybe an individual getting a little paralysis analysis because they're trying to think about it too much, or analysis paralysis, saying it backwards, but they just overthink it, right? So are typically looking at it from that perspective. And I think even, taking it a step further, like the Eisenhower matrix was like, do, don't do, delegate, don't delegate kind of stuff. Yeah. And that, goes back to urgent, important, not important. Right. What are the things we have to do right now? Like, for instance, if we have a customer with a website down, that's pretty urgent and pretty important, right? If we have a customer that wants to change some stuff on the website, that is neither urgent nor important, right? But we still have to maintain our values of response. We have to respond, we have to communicate and do those things so that we're not telling the customer, hey, this isn't as important as someone else. They're still, our customers are still important. But what is it internally that we have to put in flow? And honestly, as a leader, I sometimes fail in communicating the prioritization correctly because I have to pull back the reins and go, okay, this person is working diligently on this task. And yeah, it's urgent, but like you said, it's not important. So we have to kind of, let's stop this for a second, go fix this and come back. And the goal is, and I go back to consistency, like maintaining consistency in your message, maintaining consistency in your process. As long as you continue to maintain that consistency, when you have to make changes or improve, they get it. Oh, okay. So we're doing that because we're trying to improve our speed and we're trying to improve our efficiency and we're trying to understand prioritization better because that's what Gary talks about all the time. And if we talk about that all the time, those are the things, that they'll think about. We were having a leadership meeting earlier today, and we had this same conversation almost. And I went back to a basketball thing that I used to say all the time. Like every huddle that we had, we talk about defense, and we talk about, okay, what are the 3 things we got to do on defense? And this was right before we break. And it got to the point with most teams that whoever the captain was or who the leaders were would do it. Like our 3 things were be halfway between the wall. If the ball swings sides, you got to talk and move. And if anybody comes into the paint, we put them on the floor. It was a little bit more aggressive than that, but that's what we said. And every team that I ever had, like we focused on those things on defense. Now we might have called a timeout to set up a play on offense, but at the end of the day, it was like, okay, now we got to remember what we do to defend. Well, same thing with your team. Like what's the core values? Always be focused on that. And then what is your value to your customers? Focus on pushing that. And anybody that's been in sales knows we like to think about the features and the benefits, and we like to sell that. But really the customer always listens to that radio station. What's in it for me? And we have to position ourselves that way. But you also have to keep your staff and your team positioned to fulfill that. And as monotonous as it is and as simple as it sounds, it comes down to consistency, in my opinion.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't wanna dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you wanna dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.